We are ninjas, we are turtles, we are heroes, sing our song. Are you ready? Let's go. The Legend of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Part 1, Chapter 40, Despair. Written and performed by Joseph Chambers and based on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. So, Michelangelo sat on the comparatively lumpy family sofa, about to devour his comic, before Leonardo came over and handed him a tea towel. Thanks, but I'm not sure why I would need this when I'm reading a comic book, Mikey responded, throwing the tea towel back at Leo, which draped over his face with a distinct disregard for his dignity. The tea towel was still soggy and smelt like really bad breath, so Leonardo swiped it off his face despairingly. You are going to put your comic down and wash the dishes. It is your turn on the rota, Leo said, gritting through his teeth. Why did he have such a short temper? He was usually so in touch with his emotions. Maybe he needed more meditation. Leonardo abandoned Michelangelo and set off for yet another meditation session, the fourth or fifth that day he couldn't quite recall. Mikey groaned. Mikey glumly got up and shuffled slowly to the kitchen. He grabbed a bowl and began to aimlessly scrub washing up liquid and water over the bowl, not really achieving anything. He finished the washing up after 30 precious minutes of his life he'd never get back. And the drying up, Master Splinter said in passing from the bathroom to the family room when Mikey was inches from picking up his comic again. Mikey once again approached the unnecessarily large tower of plates and cutlery and began to dry them with the tea towel that had a faded image of a Labrador on it. This took another 10 minutes to do, and a further 5 to put everything away. Michelangelo decided that he would go into the sewers elsewhere and read his comic, out of fear that he would be asked to do further work or otherwise be interrupted. Meanwhile, Raphael was having a ridiculously bad day. Firstly, he had woken to find that they had run out of milk, and so he would have to have toast instead of cereal, and he despised toast. Even worse was that their only toaster was faulty and always burnt the bread to practical coal that no amount of strawberry jelly could save. Not that he liked that either, but they had run out of peanut butter, hadn't they? Then Master Splinter had arranged education time for them for 3 hours. Some boring BS about the Roman Empire, followed by learning about how indices affect numbers and learning the spelling of words Raph knew he would never have to spell, and even after all that his father still had the idea to set them further work as an out-of-lesson project. It was to create a fact file on a given country. Raph was given Egypt. Why? When would he go to Egypt? It was of no use to him whatsoever, yet he still had to do it. Why was life so unfair to him? Why was he constantly oppressed under the dictatorship of a rat? He glumly thrust himself down on the sofa, nearly breaking the weary structure of the well-worn piece of furniture, about to watch an episode of The Ultimate Spider-Man he had previously missed and only found in a dumpster on DVD the other day. If anything at all interrupted him now, he did not know what he would do, but he knew it would be unpleasant. Michelangelo trekked into the sewers for a short while, then settled down, cross-legged, nowhere in particular. He opened his comic gingerly and began to absorb the pure fantasy that floated off every single inch. The power of imagination danced about from page to page. A shard of metal burst out of the paper and swiped the entire comic book out of his hands. Michelangelo had been so ensconced in his comic it took him a few moments to react to the fact that he now appeared to be facing a giant metal sphere that took up the whole of the sewer tunnel circumference. It had multiple appendages that included, but were not limited to, swords, cannons, laser guns, standard guns, and what appeared to be glorified funnels and plungers. Michelangelo screamed at a frequency that would be expected of a girl half his age and tried to run away. Then he stopped. He couldn't run home. That would lead whatever it was to the lair, and he could not risk danger for his family. He would have to get as far away from there as he could and somehow destroy the machine. The machine was not very fast, at about 10 miles per hour, which Michelangelo could easily outrun. The main problem was the machine was shooting laser beams and what looked like bullets and cannonballs. Mikey kept running, noticing that the machine was making holes in the walls from its use of projectiles. Mikey dreaded to think of the holes it could make in him. "Why does nobody want me to read my comic this morning?" he shrieked as he dropped his already ripped beyond repair comic, and it was crushed further by the sphere. Michelangelo was jumping frantically from left to right as he ran to avoid the various gunfire and shrapnel from the walls said gunfire was causing. He occasionally had to do front flips or forward rolls to avoid such debris. It became clear to Mikey that sooner or later he would have to face the machine head-on. He decided on sooner. As he whipped out his nunchaku from his belt and prepared to face the artificial beast before him, it thrust a harpoon out of a front cannon-like chute. Michelangelo jumped but caught his foot on the wooden main shaft as it soared past him with breakneck velocity. He tripped and landed on his hands and knees. He grazed both his left hand and his right knee on the rough, dirty surface of the access tunnel, but was too panicked to notice his injuries and in too much shock to feel the pain, despite his glowing teal blood slipping down his leg and arm. Michelangelo managed to roll out of the way of something big and heavy that hit the ground before he staggered to his feet and prepared to face the sphere of doom ahead of him. The machine slowed in pace to a crawl and turned all of its weaponry on the green child standing defiantly in front of it. It fired, and Michelangelo jumped to the side and used the brick wall of the sewer tunnel to propel himself towards the machine. Nunchaku in his bloody hands, he swung madly at the metal monster, breaking several attachments with a shower of sparks. A metal arm propelled itself out of the silver surface wielding a katana sword. Michelangelo was reminded of his brother, and this spurred him on further as he knew he must not give up for the sake of his family and not just his own life.